Hello, you guys. It's Luxura Moon Goddess, and today we are going to be discussing signs and symbols from the universe. So, that is what we're going to get into today. Let's get into it. So, if you've seen my post on either my Facebook or my Instagram, I briefly touched on this the other day and I thought about it and I really want to go more into detail. So that is why I'm bringing you this video. So let's talk about it. Signs and symbols from the universe. If you really think about it, there's always signs and symbols from the universe. And if you're somebody who you're very intuitive and you're able to trust your intuition, you're going to notice signs, symbols, messages from the universe that is being communicated to you. So, it is, if you're somebody who's very intuitive, it is important for you to listen to those signs and symbols because the thing is it's being brought to you. It's being brought to your attention. And it is some type of knowledge, it is some type of message that you need to receive. And a lot of people, if you're somebody who you struggle with your intuition anyway, you may have a more difficult time being able to receive these messages or notice these messages being sent to you. So with that being said, if you're someone who struggle with noticing these things in the universe, in the world, or what have you, you need to first strengthen your intuition. So how do you do that? In order to trust your intuition, you have to really believe in yourself. So to get more intuition, to believe in your intuition, you really just have to believe in yourself. If you're someone who's doubtful of yourself, you're not going to have strong intuition because you don't believe in yourself. You don't trust yourself, you're not believing in yourself, and so it's going to make it harder for you to notice these messages, these signs, these symbols than someone who say is very intuitive and trust themselves. So back to signs and symbols. When you're out and about in your daily life, you may think, a lot of people just think, something is out of the ordinary, or oh, something is just a coincidence, or something, a lot of people, because the thing is these signs and symbols are being sent to you and it's clear to you, but a lot of people will just brush them off. Oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's just a coincidence. Oh, it's just something strange. It's not something to really pay attention to. But the thing is it is something that you need to pay attention to. It's being brought to your attention for a reason. So, with that being said, when these signs and symbols are being sent to you, it is imperative that you choose to listen. And it's kind of like, and if I can give an example of this, there's been situations where, like, for example, if you ever seen like those disasters, those airplane disasters, there have been instances where people happened, like they knew something would happen. Like there's been instances where people, they ended up missing the flight, they ended up running a little bit late, or something told them, they had a feeling where, oh, I shouldn't get on that flight. That is a sign. That's an example of a sign and a symbol, because that is a message being sent to you from beyond. It's being sent to you, and it is something that you pay attention to. And when you really think about it, I believe that people like the ancient people before us, a lot of people think, oh, ancient people, cave people, da 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 da, oh, they're stupid, da 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 da. But no, if you really think about it, people who lived in ancient civilizations, they were very intelligent first and foremost because they lived without all this technology that we have now, and they were able to survive. And number two, they were by far more intuitive than we are. So with that being said, I think over time, as we, because in a way, in a sense, we kind of domesticated ourselves, and then of course we have all this technology, and that's not to say that technology is a bad thing, but we're not fully using all of our brain power, all of our full capacity like the ancients were. So they were more intuitive and they were more in tune with like the spirit world and things of that nature anyway because they were just much more intelligent and they were vibrating on a different frequency than, say, modern humans today. So, with that being said, signs and symbols from the universe. That sign, that symbol, that message is usually something that is being sent from the spirit world. It's something being spent, it's spirits communicating to you, it's someone communicating to you, and it is something that you need to pay attention to. So how do you, and some people aren't able to, how do you notice these signs or symbols? How do you notice these signs and symbols or what have you in the universe? How do you know somebody's communicating something to you? It just all goes back to intuition. You have to first, you have to strengthen your intuition. Number two, the second thing that's going to help you is you have to pay attention. You have to be more aware of your environment, of your surroundings, of the people around you. Because when you become more aware and attuned to your environment, you're going to be able, because you're noticing things, you're going to notice small changes, you're going to notice large changes, because you are in tune with your environment. And you have to be in tune with your environment. Because if you're not in tune with the environment, how are you going to notice these messages being sent to you? You're not going to notice them because you're not paying enough attention. So, with that being said, take note of your environment, take note of the people around you. It's kind of like people, like, for example, taking note of the environment and energies around you. Some people, and I can relate to this because I have this ability. Most people, or a lot of people, can notice like the energy of other people. Like, you can feel people's, when you're near someone, and for example, somebody's angry or they walk past you, they're in a bad mood. That's energy. That is a frequency. You can feel that energy radiating off of them. So that's an example. You have to start being attuned to the environment. Notice things around you. Does something appear out of the ordinary? Does something appear to be mysterious? Does something appear to be strange? Does this person seem to be a little bit off? These are the things you have to start, and you have to train yourself. Because if you're not really used to it, if you're not really used to doing this, it's something that you have to train yourself to do. Some people just have this naturally, and I'm kind of one of those people where I'm very notice. I notice things, especially of other people. I pick up on things. I can pick up on energies. I can sense when something is wrong. I can sense that somebody is not a good person. I can naturally, and I've always had this, even when I was a child, I've always had this ability. So some people are just kind of naturally born with this level of intuition, born with these capabilities, and they're able to sense it easily. But if you're someone who you kind of struggle with this, or you're not really able to do it easily, it's kind of something that you're going to need to train and teach yourself. And like anything else, it's no different than learning how to ride a bike when you're younger, or whenever you learn to ride a bike. You just have to get used to it. You have to learn. You have to take note. And over time, the more you do this, the easier it's going to come to you. And then at some point, it's going to be natural to you because you're so used to doing it. It becomes automatic. So, with that being said, signs and symbols, and when we think about signs and symbols from the universe, because some people may think of it in kind of a negative sense, not all signs and symbols and messages you receive from the universe is not it's not going to necessarily be bad. So don't assume, because some people might be afraid, don't let fear stop you from receiving this information, because it's being sent to you for a reason, and usually it's in good fortune. It's in good nature. You want to be able to receive these messages. You want to be able to receive this information from the universe. So you have to let go of fear. You can't just think, oh, well, that's something bad, it's probably something negative, I don't want to listen to it, or it's always going to be a bad message. Don't think like that, because sometimes you receive signs, symbols, messages that are good indicators, that's telling you, oh, you're on the right path in your life. Or, oh, you made the right decision the other day. It's a good thing you decided not to be with this person. There was some type of sign or symbol. He wasn't a good person anyway. You shouldn't be dealing with him. So it's not always going to be necessarily bad or negative messages. Because a lot of times it's good messages that you need to hear. Good messages that's going to help instill doubt and faith and trust in yourself. So, with that being said, not all messages, signs, symbols, or what have you are something that's necessarily bad. A lot of the times it's something good. So, with that being said, strengthen your intuition. And if you are someone who you need help strengthening your intuition, if you check on my YouTube channel, I did do a video on strengthening your intuition. And so you can check there, or I can make another video about intuition, which that's probably a good idea. But when you strengthen your intuition, get it on a higher level. And I think what's helpful for strengthening your intuition as well, now that we're talking about that, is vibrating on a high frequency. When you're vibrating on a high frequency, you're in a positive emotional state. You're vibrating on this high frequency. This will help you strengthen your intuition as well. Because really think about it. If you're in a negative emotional state, if you're on a lower frequency, you're not feeling your best. You're not at your best. You may not be paying attention to your intuition like you should because you're not in the best frame of mind. You're not vibrating on the right frequency and you're not feeling your best. When you are on a higher frequency, you're feeling good. You're on a higher vibration. You're going to be more easily attuned to receiving and noticing signs and symbols because you're on a higher frequency. So, with that being said, if you're somebody who struggles with intuition, make sure you get your frequency right. And I did a previous video on ways to raise your frequency that can help you as well. So, with that being said, signs and symbols are always all around us. It can be when we think of signs and symbols, it could be a gut feeling, that's your intuition speaking. It could be something in the media. Like you're watching a show and you notice something about the people you're watching, something on the news. It could be something, you're interacting with somebody in a relationship or what have you, and you just notice that something's kind of off with them. These are all examples of signs and symbols that you need to pay attention to. So, get in the habit of noticing signs and symbols. The more you do this, the more you take note of your environment, the people around you, energies, things of that nature. Do this on a regular basis, and then you're going to be able to spot these signs and symbols more easily. And then you're going to train yourself, you're going to get used to it, you're going to take note of this, and then you're going to be like, oh, I can notice signs and symbols, or I can receive messages from the universe. I'm noticing things. I'm receiving the information, and you know what? This information is helpful. I'm able to use it in my life. It's able to help me. It's able to guide me on the right path. So, with that being said, that is all I have for this one, and I will check you guys later in the next one. Bye bye.